a Mac Danner joining us. It's just this way, at the Dim Carnival.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And this week we're talking about Forgotten Freshness Volume 4. We're talking about tracks 10 through whatever, 10 through 15 maybe? And it's a fun one. Well, it's more fun than some of our past weeks anyway. We're talking about tracks 11 through 15 is what I meant to say. So, how you guys doing? You doing good?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We've been talking about recreational vehicles and video games for the past 90 minutes, so we're ready to go.
Right. We did do a lot of talking before we hit record. But
I got called a big nerd for liking Sudoku.
Well,
even though another person likes Sudoku.
Ryan's words, not mine, Steve.
As Ryan's been like to say lately, you said it, not me.
Well, Ryan is good at math. Ryan's the person here who's good at math. So
thanks, Bill. That's nice. I do often get this.
And also Steve is good at math.
I feel like I much more often get the number section of the game countdown more often than I get more than, say, like 6 letters. I very rarely ever get any words over 6 letters in countdown. But I can do the math one a lot of the time.
Yeah, countdown's a lot of fun. I have never once even come close to doing the math one, so yeah. They pull numbers, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, man.
Well, we all bow to Rachel.
I'm just gonna wait for the jokes. They're gonna solve this math problem. I'm gonna wait for the jokes.
Right.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Oh shit!
It's a British game show called Countdown. It's more of a panel show called Countdown.
I mean, you could watch IT Crowd, and then there's an episode about Countdown on that.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is a lot better if you ever seen Countdown, but it's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, well, okay.
How good is it compared to this week's tracks? I wonder.
Correct. Let's start off by talking about Wicked Rapper's Delight. And if you have not listened to that yet, go ahead and take a listen right now.
That's what the nine's in the matrix for. Warlocks and witches come and learn from the master. The walls of my home feature bodies in the plaster. Their debits sticking out like Han Solo when he froze, with my favorite weapons hanging off their fingers and toes. Wicked pimpin'.
So this is a track by Insane Clown Posse Sane, featuring Isham, the Unholy, and it's Wicked Rapper's Delight. The liner notes say that this crazy ass... Oh, wait, no, sorry. That's Body's Flight. The liner notes say, this song is some true classic sounding wicked shit. Detroit murderous style. Old school flows on an old school hard ass track. No hooks in the song. No hook needed. Just wicked shit from front to finish. Front to finish is pretty good. Recorded in September 2005 just for Forgotten Freshness 4 and for true fans of the old school. I think that this song has some moments in it that aren't great, but I do appreciate them trying to channel the intent, if not necessarily the spirit of Rapper's Delight, and making it wicked shit, and just having them do a bunch of rhymes one after the other for a while, for almost 5 minutes, just doing verse, and doing a little round robin action on it. And I also appreciate that that sometimes one of them will pick up the thread that another person finished their verse with, and like, oh yeah, I'll talk about that now. But like, there's some good stuff in here, and it's not a terrible way to spend a few minutes listening to a song.
I feel like I agree that there's some problematic shit in here or whatever. What ICP track doesn't have some problematic shit, but this one is pretty fun. I feel like
Yeah.
there's like
It's like as fun as Isham gets.
yes. So this is yeah, I agree. This is some Isham that I can get down with. I feel like it's the right level of aggression and fun. Um and they each get like 4 verses or whatever. They each do a lot of verses. And so you get a lot, and I feel like it builds. And verse
Yes,
2,
it does.
well, verse 2, verse 3, so it's like kind of there's some really, really strong content, especially from Violent J. I feel like Violent J is ice cold, like nails the whole track. He's super, super solid.
Mhm.
And so I definitely appreciate that. But yeah, I like the beat. I like their, the tempo or whatever. It's a fun track.
I think this is all very good Shaggy 2 Dope content.
What's your favorite Shaggy
Stole a
stuff,
fucking
Bill?
fire
Tell me.
truck and drove it through a Wendy's. But I also like, let's see. So, although the verse is very problematic, the idea of like, I stuffed a dead body under my seat on the bus and got off, and I was clean, but then I forgot to wear gloves, so I'm running after the bus, trying to get the fingerprints off the neck.
He's like screaming at the bus. Get my dead lady friend.
My dear friend. Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, it's not all good, but it's all good.
At the beginning in the little intro or whatever, Shaggy's like screaming and he says that it's 2015.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was so
that was my notes
confused.
too. It's like
I thought I was
2015
having another
question
one of
mark?
my Grand Theft Auto moments, and I was like, "Wait, what year? This couldn't be. Can't be 2015, Shaggy." What do you guys think is so? Bill, you kind of mentioned this, the intent or whatever. Rapper's Delight. What are they referencing or whatever? You know what?
What are they referencing? They're referencing Rapper's Delight.
Right, 1979 Sugar Hill Gang. Okay.
Yeah.
But is it just because it's 3 guys? Like what?
I think it's just I think that they think this is an old school beat, and I think that they think that they're doing an old school type of flow. Although, a lot of ICP flow just sounds like old school flow by default. I think that they think that the production and the delivery on the track is a throwback style that they're doing, but I think that the idea of what they're doing as far as like, they're like, what was great about those old school hip hop tracks is that it was just rapping and no hook and just back and forth and just coming off the dome and just rapping about whatever we wanted to. And I think that that's the aesthetic that they are obviously bringing to this, because they mentioned the no hook needed in the liner notes. So I think that like I didn't really see what was really Rapper's Delight-ish about it. But I think that the thing that really sets Rapper's Delight apart, other than just like how needlessly long it is like that there are so many ideas that they're tossing out in that track, and it's like such a classic, and they're like just going like nonstop, and like it was so groundbreaking. But like if you listen to it now, it's just there's so much that they're putting out there, and they're putting it all on the one track. And I think that that's what they're emulating here, is like, let's do that like nonstop, no hook, just verse, but let's all make it just the wicked.
I agree 100% with that.
Yep.
Cool. But I enjoyed it. I mean, there's like icky stuff here and there in it, but like overall, it's a very fun track.
With there being so many verses and it being so long that like it's a wonder that there wasn't a whole lot more of the icky stuff
Yeah,
instead of the
that's true.
wicked stuff.
Especially at the time period it was made, like coming right
Yeah.
after supervillains. So
There's just like some great stuff. Like you were talking about like some of the funny stuff Shag said. I like something that really stood out to me with Shag on a verse is just like how he says that he and his brain don't know each other, and that just cracked me up because the way it flows and everything that's leading up to him saying that, there were some things that Isham said that cracked me up. I loved, like, there's one line that goes past real quick that he's just like, his teeth are gold because he doesn't brush them. It's just like, oh fuck, that's hilarious to me. This wasn't as funny. This is actually one of the icky things, but it was also crazy that he pointed it out because it was a massive, I think, R. Kelly diss where he was just like talking about a girl hitting on him that's too young, and then he's like saying, go to R. Kelly because he likes him at 13. And I was like, dang, he's,
Well, that lyric was the biggest bummer of the song to me, just because it reminded me that people have been not only knowing about R. Kelly taking advantage of underage women for fucking 20 years, but have been making jokes about it, and it took 20 years of people knowing about it, and not even like open secret, not even secret at all, just like something that's known about R. Kelly. And it took until society caught up with how fucked up that is for anyone to consider that he might face consequences for his actions. Like that was the bummer to me, is like this track came out, 16 years ago or whatever, and it was already an old, joke at that point.
Yeah.
And still like it's only today where it's like, oh, maybe he'll face some consequences for behaving this way for his entire life.
Well, so this was 2005. I was trying to think of the earliest thing that I could think of.
His trial.
What's trial?
When he went to trial and the video of him peeing on the girl?
Yes. So that was
2002.
2002. Okay, because in 2003, the first track that I heard of that made fun of that incident was Party Fun Action Committee off Def Jux Records.
Yeah.
Had a skit album called Let's Get Serious, and there was a track on there where they mentioned that, they referenced that.
Yep.
So yeah, by 2005, it had already become like a passe or whatever joke.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking wild, man. That same thing happened with what's his name, Harvey Weinstein. Like, right, that shit happened, and then I saw all this stuff on the news, and they played all these clips of like TV shows and interviews and stand-up comedians and stuff, all at awards shows and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I'd never seen any of that stuff, and I was like, damn, man, that's so fucked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, dude. Like Brett Ratner, Bryan Singer, like people have known about Kevin Spacey since like before he was even like a star, That's all. It's just, that was the bummer to me, is like, of like, not that the joke is in there, but just the reminder of like, man, it really took them fucking over a decade after it was already a played out joke for anyone to be like, you know what? Maybe we should all like agree as a society that this isn't acceptable,
You still got a lot of people that defend him too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so does Michael Jackson, and so does
Woody Allen.
So does Mel Gibson. No one who makes a movie about Jesus could be bad.
That's true.
Speaking of Jesus, one Christmas, I think I got a Casio keyboard. I think I was 10, maybe. And it was a pretty rad keyboard. It had all the different keyboard sounds that Casio did, but it had a little rhythm section where you could have pre-programmed beats that it would play, and you could play your music along to those beats. And then there was 4 little touch drum pads, and there was probably like 3 or 4 different drum settings that I could choose between to make different drum sounds. And the one that I loved the most had these toms, the tom-toms, And I would fucking wail on those tom-toms, you know, cranking out a beat on that thing. And as soon as this track started playing, Wicked Rapper's Delight, it was that fucking tom. I was like, oh shit, that's my Casio tom. And that the tom-toms in this whole thing, I think Ishan produced this track. He's fucking wailing on those toms all through the whole damn track. King drum of this track, in my opinion, the tom.
He's like Rude Boy getting the drums.
Exactly.
Rude Boy get the drums.
Yes.
I've been to Boston, Massachusetts, right here. No, it's fun track. Definitely sort of surprisingly enjoyable, maybe. Yeah.
You know what I think is like the problem is there's no story, so there's not really anything to talk to in terms of the content. And there's 5 minutes, 12 verses. You know, there's like each guy does like 30 something lines, and so it's really just cool imagery and stuff that they're saying, and a lot of it's rad, man. You know, Violent J having all of his enemies stuck. Like Han Solo, like frozen carbonite around his house, and he leaves all his little favorite weapons hanging off of him or whatever. That's fucking
fingers, toes. Yep,
that's so fucking dope, man. That's Mandalorian shit, man. He predicted it.
The Mandalorian predicted.
Yeah, so it's a good track. I dig it.
Sick. Yeah. Thanks to everyone for that. Sorry, my brain seized up. All right. Well, that was Wicked Rapper's Delight. It was fun. Let's talk about the next track, which is not as fun. Let's talk about Panties. And if you haven't taken a listen to Panties, take a listen right now.
What do these hoes do? Pull your panties to the side. Pull your panties to the side. Pull your panties. Pull your panties. Pull your panties.
So, I would say less content in this song than the previous song.
Yep. Not
a lot. Not a lot in this song. Just Shaggy's in a limo and he wants to have intercourse, so he requests panties be pulled to the side.
They're always getting in the way, back. You know.
Yeah.
When you want to
pull them to the.
When you want to get it in a little. Those panties.
I do. The only thing that's like close to like endearing in this song is like pull him to the left, pull him to the right, put that leg over there, and this one over here. But yeah, that's the entirety of the song. This was supposed to be on, I think, Fuck the Fuck Off, but it wasn't. It was on this one instead.
He rhymes back with back.
He sure does, buddy. He sure does. The liner notes say this song's bass set the security alarm off in the studio. The cops came and took Team Supreme to jail for weed. It was originally recorded for Shaggy's Fuck the Fuck Off solo album, but since that album has been delayed, we figured we'd give you all a taste of its dopeness in advance. This track was completely schooled by Shaggy 2 Dope himself, and it's all across your face with bass. So
it can't be mad.
That is so much better than the song.
Yeah, no, the liner notes are much better than the song. I like that this song caused people to get arrested.
I had 3 notes on it. The first note was it's got music and rapping. The second note was rhymes back with back. And the third note was not liking the skit at the end.
Oh, okay. But I think this is a good takeaway is that Shaggy has an ugly, smelly dick.
It does stink. Stinks bad.
His dick is so ugly, it's horrifying to behold. And the smell is particularly noteworthy. It smells really bad.
Yeah.
He likes his dick, though. I think you always like your own brand.
So, yeah, I do appreciate that these are rappers that are like, oh, man, let me do a skit about how nasty my wiener is.
I feel like it's sort of a karma thing, you know, where he's like,
sure.
He's compelled. Shaggy does all the sex songs and shit, you know, or whatever. And this is him. I feel like when somebody tells you who they are, believe them, right? This is Shaggy shit. But I think he also knows. think he also knows that like it's kind of he's fronting a little bit, you know, like I don't know. And so he's got to do the thing at the end to be like, no, I have a smelly, gross dick, you know, to just kind of like.
Maybe it's like his toenails.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the only thing about the skit. I can't determine, nor can I prove, that that's a skit at the end of Panties rather than a skit at the beginning of If You Can't Beat 'Em, Join 'Em.
That's a good point.
Because I think it sounds more like it would be a skit from the beginning. If You Can't Beat 'Em, Join 'Em.
That is a good point, because it sounds very Carnival of Carnage.
Yeah. He's like, look at my dick! Rather than like, oh, look at my dick, motherfucker!
Right. Oh, I guess you're probably right, huh?
But, you know,
wow.
They placed it there on purpose after Panties to take the edge off, so...
Well, yeah, that really just knocks my whole thing over, but
or
okay.
just to edge.
No, fair enough.
All right, shall we move on to the next song? Because there's like nothing to talk about with Panties other than we didn't like it. All right. The next track is called If You Can't Beat 'Em, Join 'Em. And if you haven't listened to them, listen to them.
Come here, man. Check it out. You know they're laughing at you, man. Fuck 'em, man. You know what I'm saying? Come down here, man. And join the carnival, man. Gangsters banging, left straight hanging. Freakazoid bass head spare rent changing. Homeless hobo pushing dead bones.
So this song was supposed to be on the Terror Wheel EP, but they didn't like it. So they took all the lyrics off and they turned it into Schizophrenic. Same production, same beat. Yeah.
I did not notice that.
And they reference someone named Willoughby Rags.
They do.
And he eventually appears on Schizophrenic with a different voice.
I was going to say, the voice is different, yeah.
Yeah, definitely recognize the voice is different. Isn't Willoughby Rags is the person, he's the host that guides you on the terror wheel or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
Accurate, yes.
And then he does show up in another song later, so it must be that one, Schizophrenic.
He also, I discovered, hosts an EP that was released at one point called Willoughby Rags' Magical Bag of Poop. That was released at the Gathering of the Juggalos 19. And you can find that on YouTube if you're so inclined.
This song sounds like it should go on Terror Wheel.
Yeah, right? Maybe because it is a song on Terror Wheel.
Yeah, why'd they scrap it? They should have left it on there. This song's great.
Yeah.
Let's see what the liner notes say. This song was recorded all the way back in 1992. It was recorded for the Terror Wheel EP. ICP and Mikey Clark never really felt this song had enough flavor, and so they scratched the whole thing. Music was later used for the song Schizophrenic on Terror Wheel, but this was the track's first go-round. Classic clown shit found for you on Forgotten Freshness 4.
Maybe what they thought was not very cool was that they rhymed going with going. But what was cool is they rhymed owls with balls.
Right.
Yes, that was my first big highlight here. They climb the trees and kick it with the owls. You don't like that? You can suck my bowels.
Okay. This song is full of old school ICP freshness,
yes.
right? It's classic. And maybe that's why it's so fun to listen to now, because it's nice that they kept this for us or whatever. A nice little treat. The production, it's got that flavor, the dum-de-dum-de-dum chorus thing that happens for a few minutes that makes no sense at all.
I think that's probably the biggest problem with why they probably scrapped it, because they're like, what is this even?
Yeah,
what are we doing with this?
Right. Could have just taken it out. I don't know. At the beginning, you got Violent J, and this is really like Violent J hanging out outside of the high school, in the high school parking lot, to me. And he's trying to convince somebody that's getting picked on and bullied. He's like, hey, these people, they don't give a shit about you, so fuck them. You should come down here and join the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they get to the chorus, or the song is, if you can't beat them, join them. And so who are we beating? If you and who are we joining? Yeah,
it's a little confusing, but yeah, like you were saying, like it didn't click until after I saw like Schizophrenic, but I'm like, oh, this is just so this is so classic ICP, like it sounds so like a classic ICP track, and I'm like, oh, because it is.
It is, yeah. Right.
But it's always welcome, at this point in where we are. Like, not that I dislike the contemporary stuff that we're listening to in 2005, like that's not supervillains, but like when you hear that original ICP sound, it's such a specific thing. That's like, it's like sense memory. Like when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I know what I'm listening to now.
I think it's cool that I used to not like the stuff that sounded different. And I probably even as early as when we first had Mike P come on, and I was like, yeah, it's probably, I don't know what I said back then, but I was probably something like, yeah, it's not really the same, and now, it's been like a year and I completely appreciate it. And so I like all the different stuff that they always try, but I love this. And I love the references, the 17 Moons of Del Rey and, all that shit. It was really, really fun to go back to.
My favorite part was Violent J saying, you don't have a back.
Yes. Classic ICP shit.
Yeah. I liked the toxic waste turning everyone into freaks, Shaggy jumping off something high to kill himself, but he's his skin's made of rubber, so he just bounces. I really I like all that imagery.
Also, the first line of the first verse is the same as the first line of Clown Love, which is fun.
Yeah.
Homeless hobos. not just like part-time hobos.
The other part that is the bridge that Violent J does, where the beat it goes to like a clap or something like that, and he's doing a little more singy of a thing.
Yeah.
It is such a weird choice, but it's such an ICP thing, and so I end up liking that part a lot. And he's talking about it doesn't matter if you got a neck that's 3 feet long or a finger growing out of your chin. Good stuff.
I think probably the reason that they scrapped this song was, one, the chorus, and two, they realized like Mikey was like, they probably got to the end, like tape of the last chorus, and Mikey like thumbs the button to like talk to Jay in the booth, and he's like, who are you joining and who are you beating? She was like, fuck. All right. Anything else to say on this one, guys? I had a good time with this one.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, let's talk about the next track, which is Nobody Move. And if you haven't listened, take a listen right now.
It's some bullets coming over Mac 10. Shaggy too dope and Violent J with hearts full of wickedry. Bitch, fuck what you saying. I'm plugging one through your cranium for two in my pocket. It's like the rhythm of my world, dude. Can't shit stop it. Nobody move. Nobody just move.
So, Nobody Move, Nobody Get Hurt, is what we hear first, which is a sample or interpolation of the iconic Yellow Man song, Nobody Move, Nobody Get Hurt, which is always welcome to hear.
Yeah, it's a great track. We love Yellow Man at Dim Carnival Studios, especially his Christmas album.
We celebrate Yellow Man.
Yellow Man has one of the best Christmas albums, which I only know because of our friend Peter.
Yes.
But
this track was produced by Erotic D, and according to the liner notes, Erotic D was somebody from the Dallas area that Insane Clown Posse had been listening to his tracks for a long time, and they've been wanting to work with him. So on the on the Wraith Hell's Pit tour, they finally got a chance to work with Erotic D. They recorded this song on tour. Mac 10 and ICP recorded their vocals for this track in the back of the tour bus.
Huh.
I mean, just clicking over to check out, I never heard this dude Erotic D, but he produced tracks for DOC, MC Breed. He even produced a track for Jamal. I haven't seen that record cover since the 90s, Damn.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like you'll get, like, there's so many producers like this where, like, I mean, like, there are very few producers in general that, like, the average person, the average hip hop fan has heard of. And often the reason that people have heard of those producers is because, in like the example of like Kanye West, they become rappers, or in the example of like Dr. Dre, they are rappers, or in the example of like DJ Mustard or DJ Khaled, like they put themselves forward, or like Mike Will Made It, where it's like, I want to be like, I'm going to be a personality. I'm going to be a celebrity. I'm going to put myself on the cover, and I'm going to make albums that are my albums that I put rappers on, like I feature rappers on. Like I produce it. It's my album because I produced all the tracks. I don't rap, but these are my albums. You know, like those are how we hear of producers generally. But there's so many producers in hip hop. The vast majority of producers are these dudes that like just fucking do it all the time and do like really great work. And like the people who make the music like know like, oh shit, this guy does like hot shit and I want to work with this guy. But like most of us are like, I've never heard of this guy before, you know?
Right. Yeah, man, I can say that I have a really strong knowledge of rap music, especially anything that's after like 97. So, not surprised that I don't know this dude, but really, really dope track. And this is definitely, whereas the last track was old school flavor, ICP, this is different. This is like not their typical sound. This is, well, I guess more like now, like contemporary ICP, where they really push outside of their normal sound. And this is like a straight up gangster rap track with Mac 10.
You want to explain Mac 10 to the people, Ryan?
I don't know anything about Mac 10. West Side Connection.
It's part of the West Side Connection.
That's all I know. Yeah, that's how I heard of Mac 10 was when West Side Connection came out. And yeah, Dub C. And so then, you know, all that shit was blowing up on the radio. So we, you know, Mac 10's solo album came out, and so we had to get that. So as soon as I listened to this and I was like, oh shit, Mac 10, I was like trying to remember what's the Mac 10 track that I want to listen to right now. Of course, it's Faux Life. So had to pull up Faux Life from Mac 10 and go through that and remember, you know, being 16 years old and driving, listening to that in my car or whatever. But Mac 10, yeah, he was married to T-Boz from TLC for a hot minute. There's some great pictures of their wedding where she's 9 months pregnant.
So I like that you started this with, I don't know anything about Mac 10.
I know two things about Mac 10.
I heard him, bought his album, listened to it when I was 16, and he married T-Boz.
I mean, I don't know anything about him personally. I can't give you any biography information on him.
I was just like, tell people who Mac 10 is.
Oh, well, yeah.
And you did. You did a great job. All right, T-Boz.
Cool. You guys should. Maybe I'll post that on the Instagram. Their wedding pictures are great. I'm a big fan of T-Boz.
Ryan.
Yo.
If you could marry any member of TLC, living or dead.
Left Eye.
Okay.
I mean, Chili is the right answer, but Lefty, Left Eye, that's the most fun. She's great.
Yeah, she'll set your shoes on fire. T-Boz, I believe yes. T-Boz is an actress now. I don't know if you're aware of this, Ryan.
No, haven't kept
She has a recurring role on Days of Our Lives.
Nice. Oh, I think I did know that. Yeah, that's rad. You know, it's one of those things that's come around, like living in a van down by the river. It used to be a punchline of a joke, but now everybody thinks it's cool. Right?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Being on
a pandemic, and a lot of people have lost their homes and are starting to live in.
Ryan's trying out his tight six for letter.
No, I was just thinking about how it used to be looked down upon, and now the situation is so shitty and the prospects are so bad that living in a van is now like a cool, trendy thing to do. You know, mm-hmm. It's like a thing to aspire to. You're like, oh shit, I wish I could do that. I wish I had the money that I could fucking live in a van. But I don't know. Oh, but so like that, whereas something that used to be kind of like a punchline or a joke is now like an honest thing. I feel like the same thing with soap operas. Like when I was a kid, it was a joke if you were on a soap opera, even though they're hugely popular. But now I feel like that whole thing has come around and people just realize that entertainment is entertainment and whatever. That stigma is dumb.
Yeah, definitely.
And so T-Boz being on there, that's fucking dope.
It's just like how when Carl's Jr. introduced the $6 burger, it was a joke. but now
Now it's
it just costs $6.
Yes. Lovely.
Well, it's scary because they had those commercials with the avocado where they're like, oh, the $2.99, and they're like, oh, you forgot the decimal, and they're like trying to hawk a burger for $299, but really it's only $2.99.
I don't know if a pawn shop would let you hawk a burger. Like, what do you want to do?
You shouldn't hawk any burgers in this pandemic. The other thing so one thing that I definitely noticed is that in collaborations on like Jekyll Brothers, there isn't really like ODB or whatever is not even in the room, right? They recorded that in two different places, obviously. But Mac 10 mentions not only mentions ICP, he mentions things that he knows about ICP. He mentions juggalettes and chicken hunting.
And
Fago. And so that was really cool, I thought. I mean, they've done a bunch of collabs and stuff already, but...
Well, I mean, like, not to be cynical, but it's also possible that, like, Mac 10 might have been like, so what's some things that I could say that would pop your guys' fans?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But it's like, but I just think it's cool. You know? He doesn't need to do that.
Mac 10. Man, they didn't even have that shit back then.
Yes. Nice pull,
And that shit is whack. All right. Good stuff, guys. I like the song. I think this is another fun one.
It's like a serious...
Yeah, it was a good song.
It's like a serious song.
Yeah.
It's weird. I enjoyed listening to it, and I literally wrote one note, and it was just, this song is cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no hilarious Shaggy 2 Dope. Nope. All right. I do like he says, I blast these stupid hero idiots. All right. Shall we move on to the next track? All right. The next track is called Yours Begins Tonight. If you haven't taken a listen, take a listen right now.
You can make it through this one. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round.
Guys, yours begins tonight. That's the basic point here of what I'm saying. So yours begins tonight. So the liner notes, recorded in 2002, this rock jam was initially made for ICP's Shangri-La album. It was left off because the clowns felt it was just too soft. ICP was feeling really positive and happy during the days of Diamond Rain, as evident on this rare, never before heard song. Far from a rap song, this song taps into a side of ICP never heard before the Shangri-La album and never heard since. Oh, never heard before the Shangri-La album and never heard since. Welcome to the roller coaster of ICP and Forgotten Freshness 4.
I could not have imagined this being on Shangri-La.
Yeah. This is like, this sounds for all the world like a demo song, like a demo track for Shangri-La. Like them being like, yeah, this is sort of the kind of the feeling we're going for. This is kind of like what we're going for.
Like a scratch track.
Like it never like getting like, just like they lay this down as like a mood piece, like to be like, yeah, we just like, we want to like have an idea of like what we're like the tone we're trying to evoke this album.
Except they had a live band.
You guys remember last week when I was talking about how sometimes songs are bad but you can hear the talent? I said some stony shit about hearing the talent that exceeds the ability or some shit like that. This is not that. This is just them trying to do something and not be good at it.
I loved it.
What I feel like is okay.
It's not good.
It's not good. It is awful.
Wait,
hold on. Love it.
I want to hear that, Steve. But I want to make this one point: is that what I felt like is, the note that I wrote is, I almost don't like it, but each time I felt like I was perpetually falling off a cliff of like, I hate this, and then Violent J would just kind of lift me back up just a little bit, and I'd be like, nope, he still got me. And so I felt like I was almost not liking it the whole time, but I can't begrudge the man that I do actually enjoy the song.
Fantastic.
But I want to know why you like it, Steve.
I felt like they just, like, they give no fucks in this. It's like, they know they can't sing, and they just go balls out on not singing well. And I just appreciate the effort that they put into singing bad over bad music and being so happy about it that and I guess if it wasn't ICP and you know, didn't have the connotation of the negative music all the time, like obviously we would never pay attention to this, but it's just like you said, every time you want to be like, I don't want to like this, you're like, no, it ropes you in. Every time he goes, that's all right. Like, it's just like, it is all right. It is all right, Violent J. I mean, I'm not going to listen to it again. But God, I like when someone is like, I'm not good at this and I'm going to put a huge effort into into this, even though I know it sucks.
It's not good, but I really enjoy it, and it's very clearly in the Shangri-La era.
Yeah, I guess it's just something that feels unfinished about it. To me, like you said, like a demo track or a scratch track. But there's some interesting things so Mike P produced this track.
You can tell.
There's during the verse, the palm muted guitar is I do really like that part. I think it sounds really good. And then he does a backmask on the drums during the chorus, I think. And that sounds really good because it gives that part a lot of energy. But it's unfortunate to me because it's mismatched with the verse. You know, it's nice that it drives it up. But to me, that's the biggest thing that I had a hard time connecting with this is matching the energy of the song. And so that I think ended up kind of hurting it more than it helped it. But I thought it sounded really good. And if they had found a way to keep that energy up, then I think the song would have been more successful for me.
Awesome. Final thoughts, guys.
No ends, no friends. And that's all right.
I thought this was a very fun week. 4 enjoyable tracks, and 1 track that didn't take long for us to form an opinion on. So, what's happening next week is we're going to finish off disc 1 of Forgotten Freshness 4, and then we're going to listen to the intro of the second disc from the Hallowicked compilation, because we have a handful of tracks that we have not listened to before on the second disc. So we'll get there. That's it. Listen to those 3 tracks, which is CPK's The Mikey Clark remix. So we get our second taste of Mikey Clark taking a stab at a song that was on a 6 Jokers card. And then we have a track called Swallow This Nut, and then the intro to the second disc. So we're gonna have a real ups and downs. You know what?
I hope it's
let's toss one more on there. A track that we have not listened to before off of the second disc. Let's do the track Pumpkin Carver off of the second disc there, because we have covered Dead Pumpkins, Mr. Rotten Treats, and Halloween on Military Street, and we've covered Mr. Johnson's Head. So let's do CPK's Swallow This Nut, and then off the second disc we're going to do Intro and Pumpkin Carver. Intro is the first track, and Pumpkin Carver is track 6 off of the second disc. But you'll probably just listen to them off of iTunes or Spotify or whatever, so it doesn't really matter. Thanks to everybody for listening. We always appreciate it. Drop us a line, drop us a line, dimcarnival@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Sundown Motel, follow all of us on all social media at Dim Carnival, on all the platforms, on all the YouTubes. Leave us a review, rate 5 stars on iTunes. Thanks to everybody for everything. Until next week, I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
Don't be a bunch of dum-de-dums. You know what I'm saying?